Known as a retirement resort and for its tourist attractions, Bournemouth has, over the last 20 years, evolved somewhat into a multicultural community. Under all this culture, Bournemouth plays a significant role in our national history, not for its sandy beaches or its English language schools, but for its modern art. We caught up with a gallery in Westbourne who pride themselves in representing urban artists such as Banksy, Andy Warhol, and urban artist Soap.
My name's Vicky Angus and I own the Metropolis Art Gallery in Westbourne. I started collecting art about 10 years ago, and the thing with art is it's highly addictive. I found myself collecting what we would term as street art. And this basically is an overspill of that passion. I can't fit any more art in my house, and the only way for me to be able to keep my love and my interest in buying new art is to have a gallery.
Metropolis Art, situated on Westbourne's High Street, plays an important role as the bridge between the artist and collector, and extends limits beyond lifestyle and location.
The beauty of street art and art in general is there are no rights and wrongs. The rules are there to be written again and again and again, and that really means that it's a level playing field. It's impossible for us to say the demographic that we have as a gallery. We have 60, 70-year-old ladies that want to buy a Banksy. It really depends on the motivation for the person buying the art. If they're collecting, if they're a collector of street art, obviously that street pedigree, that heritage is going to be a big thing for them. But if they're just looking for something to look nice on their wall, then it's a different matter. And that's fine, you know, we don't differentiate between those customers. It's all good. As long as we're moving the art and more people are seeing it, then it's all for the greater good.
Although Paul's Pottery and Bournemouth's own Arts University College are contributors in this movement, Bournemouth is involved with a very different and somewhat more controversial form of modern art. Street art can be dated back as far as humanity's existence, from cavemen to aborigines to the Egyptians, and more recently it's been found in the catacombs of Paris in the 18th century. However, this wasn't considered as street art, but graffiti, another underappreciated form of art.
Well, you ask any artist what makes him most happy, it's his own art.
It's basically a natural part of human nature. I mean, it does give us a sense of community when you know like other writers and you can just have a good time and enjoy yourself. We're like
underground network.
Yeah, we're like family.
Like if it's a legal wall, there's no wall behind it because you're there to paint it. That's all we want, is just to be seen, because we've been the underdog for so many years. You were never cool, you were never this, you were never good enough, blah, 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 blah. And every time we painted, the police would have a problem. But the actual people living in that estate, they loved it. They could not get enough of it. The kids were there. Don't go out robbing people. Maybe go and sit down and, sketch. So we were showing them a little bit of like lettering, the foundations of art. Go home and do that. There's a bigger picture to all of this, you know?
If it started on the streets, how far has it travelled and where is it now? Graffiti brought together communities worldwide, and is today interlaced with other forms of illustrations under the banner of street art.
Street art has always had a social voice. From way back in the day, in the 70s, people were always using it to get across their point of view. And for a lot of the street artists, they were never going to get into established galleries or be accepted in the established art world, so they took their art out to the masses and they treated the streets as their galleries. It's hard for some people to understand. Some people don't like the actual graffiti element of the work, but that's the reality behind it, and it's always had that social voice. It's always taken a message with it. I think the public understanding is growing all the time. Art is so in vogue right now, and there's much more awareness of art. I think people really do see street art as part of the contemporary scene. In theory, anyone can be a street artist. Obviously, some will be more successful than others, but yeah, the great thing about street art is that anyone can have a go. This is one of the most important pieces we have in the gallery. This is Turtle by Andy Warhol. And this retails at the moment for £13,500, and it will only go up from there. We're very proud to have this. But again, we feel it sits in comfortably alongside the street art that we show. This is quite a fun piece for us in the gallery. We retail these at £75 in these beautiful frames, and this is another piece by Deface called American Depress. Very much of its time for us right now, although produced a few years ago, and it's actually a credit card, which is double-sided. If I turn it over, you can see. I wanted to show a body of work that represented art now, and obviously street art is a huge part of that. We also show contemporary and modern art, but street art forms a large part of our collection. Our gallery is totally unique in the local area, I believe. I'd be happy to be proved wrong on that. The way we source our work, we source all our work independently, which means we can also give a boost to artists, and I buy stuff from all over the world. I've got artists in South Africa and the States that I've bought from, Australia, artists that are out there working in small communities, producing very limited runs. It gives me the opportunity to support them as artists and to buy their material, which obviously is extremely important to them. And it gives us the opportunity to give our customers something completely different that they may not find in another gallery in the UK, let alone the local area. Finding artists is a bit of a mystery. There's no actual science to it. Some people approach us and sometimes we chase people and approach them. Soap is one of our best-selling artists in the gallery. He is a bona fide graffiti artist hailing from Poland. There's a huge scene for graffiti art in Poland, and his work is absolutely amazing, and it gives us a true graffiti pedigree. He worked in Poland. He was part of a graffiti crew in Poland, very much on the wrong side of the law, but as the communist regime broke down, his services were actually called upon to start brightening out the environment, and his work was called upon by the authorities, and he ended up painting for them. So this is one of our most popular pieces by Soap, Portrait of Marilyn, and it shows how he works beautifully, I think. So here, instead of signing the piece, he paints himself actually bombing the piece. No one could do a signature quite like that.
Although this gallery is well known for its controversial art, Metropolis Art Gallery is using its reputation to give a voice to the voiceless, and holds exhibitions on topics such as domestic violence.
Well, I think it's fantastic, because I think the more places we can get to, because we've got to do preventative work rather than crisis work. So if we were in a high street where lots of people just come in and have a look, then actually it's just raising awareness, because people still like to think, oh, it doesn't happen in our cosy little town. Look at Bournemouth, for example. Lovely beaches, forests, but we have a social problem here. Actually, it's great to have them be allowed to actually bring our paintings and our artwork from the women who have survived domestic violence and actually paint what it's like for them. So I think it's a way forward.
The exhibition's gone really, really well. It's great to see the gallery being used absolutely for the purpose intended, and art having a social message, which is for us a fantastic opportunity.
Has art ever said so much? What else has it got to say? Only time will tell. Matt Brown with Meridian Tonight.